All right, well, we're glad you're with us. I'm going to share a screen now of our David Eccles School of Business homepage, which you probably are familiar with. Looks like we've got convocation coming up here in next week for those that are graduating, and I congratulate them. We're excited to be able to hold that live at Rice-Eccles Stadium. If you go to this website, you'll find Eccles Global on the website right down here. When we talk about the experiences that that students have on campus at the David Eccles School of Business. One of the experiences is Eccles Global, and you can click right here to learn more, or you can just simply Google it and pop up to our homepage, and here it is. So homepage Eccles Global has a wealth of information on how we are structuring our learning abroad programs. As you know, COVID has interrupted a lot of what we're doing the last year and a half. And so I need to preface everything we're talking about with this little disclaimer here that all of our learning abroad experiences are contingent upon COVID settling down. And it actually is. We're seeing the UK open up to a quarter of travel sometime probably early July. We're seeing the EU figuring out a way to allow American tourists and students to travel there this summer. And it all kind of hinges on a vaccination. And if you're able to put that vaccination onto an app that then can be shown at each of the borders and you're in. So it's going to be a pretty positive thing if we get this together. When we talk about the fall experience, I'll talk about some specific dates that we're going to report there and some of the expectations and how we're going to make that happen. I was 85% positive 2 weeks ago we're going to make the date. I'm now more like 98% positive. So really excited to continue to press on this experience. Really excited, actually. So again, we're recording this. We're going to put this up on our website when we're done, and also on our YouTube channel. So on our homepage, you'll see learning abroad experiences. And for this fall coming up, we have a full semester in London. That's the fall semester 2021 B Corps. We also have a course being taught in Utah with 1 week in Ghana, which is an interesting experience. And then we have some fall break experiences too. I'm going to click on that real quick just to give you an update on where we are there. So we had planned to do a few other places, but right now we are just doing Dubai over fall break. And it's so far 100% go. So take a look at this link if you're interested. We have seats for 30 available. We already have 16 that have applied and have been accepted. So if that's something that's of interest, please jump on that very quickly. So I'm going to take just a few minutes, talk about our semester in London. And we're partnering with a company called Kappa. And we've been with Kappa now for 7 semesters, 4 of those in London and 3 of those in Sydney, Australia. So very comfortable with the program that they present and the support they provide to our Eccles students and to faculty. So let's take a quick look at that. Again, this is a link on our website. Feel free to go there anytime and take a look. We have an application button right here. The cost is $13,250 until Saturday, tomorrow. I'm actually extending this to the 15th of May. So I made that decision yesterday. After that date, the cost will go up to $14,000. So program is limited to 7 students. We have 7 right now that have been confirmed and 3 other applicants. So we're up to 10. We can go with as few as 5 or 6. So we basically met the minimum to hold the program. So it is definitely a go at this point. Let me just share with you the courses. Actually, this is just a really fancy Excel spreadsheet I'm going to pull up here. This is our program in London for the fall. So we start on the 23rd of August, which is the same day that classes start here on campus. We're going to meet at a classroom in London at this company called Kappa, and I'll show you their website in just a second, so hang in there. Our class is going to meet at 2:30 in the afternoon, Mondays through Thursday. And back on campus, it is going to be taught from 7:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. So that is section 7 of B Corps, for those of you that would like to look that up. There's 80 seats. We're carving out 20 of those and creating an Eccles Global piece for the students that will be in London. So That's a 12-hour curriculum. And then we're adding a global business consulting course taught by a good friend of mine who is in the UK, lives in Cheltenham, England. He's a fabulous man. He will put together an amazing program for us. So there's 15 semester credit hours, and I think you'll really enjoy the curriculum. The calendar looks like this. We're going to report to Kappa on August 19th. That date is for housing. So you report to housing, you're going to get very, very clear instructions on how to report to housing. By the time you get the instructions to report for housing, you'll have comprehensive CISI insurance that will cover everything, mental, physical, emotional, any issues you're having is all covered by that insurance. The University of Utah provides that. And then you'll have this very safe housing. And we've been using a housing product in Camden Town. I'll show you that in just a second. Where that's located. You can do some research on your own on that, but it's been very successful location. Students have loved it, and it's got a great vibe. And then on the 20th, you report to the Kappa offices, and I'll show you where that's located here in just a minute. You're going to receive as part of the package an Oyster card. Looks like this. It's a tap on, tap off transportation card for the London Tube train system and also the bus system above ground. There's also some above ground trains that it works on, but it's within this local region within London. I'll show you that in just a second also. So here's our schedule, or as they say in England, the schedule. So basically every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with the exception of the first Friday, is your time to do whatever you'd like. That's travel, stay in London, wherever you want to do. Monday morning is actually quite open too, since you don't report to your class until 2:30 in the afternoon. So for those who would like to travel, Monday morning is a pretty good time to come back. So this is our week, basically Monday through Thursday. Tuesday and Thursday, I'm going to reserve a couple of hours for the global business consulting class. However, I doubt we're going to meet that often, probably once a week. A lot of it's going to be independent work and teamwork. And I think you're going to really enjoy the class. It's not for any majors or anything. It's an elective through the business school. It's actually considered an internship. So it can be used on your resume to boost your resume a bit. So here's the schedule. Along the way, we're going to have an excursion. We're going to go to the University of Amsterdam for one weekend, February 25th. And that'll be by train, most likely. And we'll come back on Sunday or Monday. We have a pretty full afternoon on Friday the 24th. And a full morning on Saturday the 25th, and otherwise it's free time. Fall break then occurs just like it does here on campus, where you'll be encouraged to enjoy some time off. You can stay in London in your housing, or you can travel. And it's a good time to invite family and friends to come over. We just ask that they don't stay in your apartment, but they find their own accommodations. And I think that'd be a nice break for everybody. And then we'll have a Thanksgiving break here on the 25th of November, and Eccles Global will take you on another excursion. We're planning to go to either Barcelona, Madrid, or potentially to Munich. I have taken students to Munich, and we're taking a tour of the BMW factory, and it's a pretty cool tour. So that would be optional. You can still travel there and not do it. But anyway, that's going to be a cool excursion. We'll figure that out together. It'll be by consensus and where you guys want to go and what's open essentially. And then the final exam is scheduled for Wednesday, December 15th. That's the exam period for the class that's at 2:30 in the afternoon. I don't know how finals will be handled for B Corps. They may already be taken care of in the class the last week. I'm not sure. I've talked to a couple of instructors that are going to be part of this B Corps Section 7 experience. And I believe you have Michael Lewis and Sheena McFarland, our marketing rep, our marketing head here at the business school. So there's going to be some great some great instructors are going to be working with you on this. I believe Sue Sundar is going to do the supply chain operations management part. So that is the schedule. And then the tuition and fees and all that. Here's what you'd pay on campus. If you're an in-state student living on the Utah campus, this is what you'd pay. Well, you pay this tuition whether you're living on campus or not. This is the average housing costs for next fall on campus. And then there's a program excursion cost I built in. So basically it's costing about $13,785 for Eccles Global to run the program. Your cost, early admit before May 15th, is $13,250. And all of your scholarships and financial aid can be applied. So if you take this to your financial aid officer or to your scholarship folks, they understand that the tuition piece is what it is. We can also break the fees out. And if you have a housing scholarship, it'll also cover this. So, so that's all good. So I'm going to drop back now to our application page, and it has all that information on here. Same way I kind of broke it down. Summary of costs, check in London, check out will be sometime mid-December. There's a pre-departure checklist. Again, an application link. Everything is included in your experience except international transportation to and from London and food and incidentals. And food, I would plan on about the same as you'd spend on a food pass on campus if you're living on campus. I will say this too, that this is a really low rate, particularly if you are an out-of-state student. You're considered in-state while you're on an Eccles Global experience. So it's as if you're in Utah, according to the residency office. And what happens at the end of the semester is I write a letter to the residency office that basically says, this person, 1 week to travel out front, 1 week in the back, all the time in between, you're considered to be a Utah resident, and the office says, great, they'll put that down as part of your experience. Now, I've had several students ask me at the end of this semester what happens. Well, we're actually going to be in Sydney, Australia in the spring, most likely. So you can actually do this B Corps and then move right into Sydney and take bridge courses for your major. We're structuring that as I speak. So that is basically our page. Here is the company that's supporting us. So we have Kappa International, and they have this, they have the London program. Whoops. Well, I just blew that. So let's do Kappa London Center. And you're welcome to go to this site and take a look at their program. You just click down here on what they're doing in the city. You're not going to be necessarily a part of their program. You're going to be working with this company through Eccles Global. And I'm going to pull up the Kappa London Center to show you. There we go. Show you what that looks like. So here is the Kappa Global Education Network location. And this doesn't really give you any context because I'm down too far into the map. So I'm going to back out just a little bit and show you that you're in South Kensington, just south of Kensington Palace, Hyde Park. Here's Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, and it's a fabulous location. I'm going to cursor back down and put the little dude on the road, and we can see what this thing looks like. It's a traditional Georgian townhome. That is these two red doors right here with classroom space up above and a really nice lobby, great student support there. Right down the road this way is the Gloucester Road tube stop, and we're going to look at that right now. It's right here. Okay, so let me just pull up the, let me pull up this tube map, and I'll just take 2 seconds to pull that up here. Sorry, it's taking me a minute to pull this up, but we'll get there. All right, there we go. I'll drag this over, we'll take a look. So here's a big convoluted mess of a map. And your Oyster card will get you pretty much everywhere on this map within this white area right here, which is section 1, and also this grayer area just outside of that, which is section 2. I'm gonna cursor down a little bit here, and I'll show you right here is Gloucester Road stop. And you'll be living here in Camden Town. And I'm gonna take you out right now to that website and show you Camden Town. So we'll put in Camden Town, UK, and then I'll show you where everything is. So you're going to be living right here in these apartments, which are really pretty cool. And right down the street is the Camden Town tube stop. So I can get down there, keep going, right there. Okay. So You're there, and the Kappa campus is right down here, and it's about a 30 to 40 minute commute, depending on traffic, by rush hour traffic. So right here, down to this location. So there's one stop basically, or one transfer on the way. So if anybody has any questions, be sure you put those out in the chat or in the Q&A. We're happy to answer those for you. I'm going to pull up another website that is kind of fun to look at, and that is EasyJet. EasyJet is an inexpensive way to travel outside of London on your weekends. And I just pulled this up and said, hey, if we're in London, let's say we want to fly, I don't know, let's try Madrid just for fun. And let's say we want to go one way, and we'll go on, let's go September. We'll just do like Saturday, September 18th. Let's just see what kind of flights they've got. Actually, Saturday's gonna be kind of expensive, but they'll give us a couple of days either way. Let's see what we come up with here. Okay, so London Gatwick to Madrid on Friday at 12:10 in the afternoon is £27. 27 British pounds is about, it's about $1.40 per pound. So you increase that by 40%. So it's probably 40 bucks. So that's one way. Coming back is about the same price, super cheap. Another way to travel is on the Eurostar, which is a line that goes under the channel basically. And so it goes underwater for a bit, and it's pretty cool too. So let's do one way. And let's go from London, St. Pancras, which is the main station, to Paris, Gare du Nord. And let's just move out into September again, just for fun. And let's say we want to go on Friday the 3rd, one adult. Let's see what we got. So this is actually more expensive than I've seen, but for $92, you're on your way to Paris. It's a 2-hour and 22-minute train ride, and it's super easy from point to point. You don't have to deal with checking your luggage and all that stuff. You just walk in, actually go through the border control into France on the English side. Same in England, you go through the British border control before you get on the train. So once you arrive, you just step right off and you're good to go. There is another really cool app that you can use within the UK, and it actually you can use it anywhere within Europe, and it's called Trainline. And Trainline is an app that can go on your phone, or you can book it online. And I just pulled it up, said, you know what, and it's all pretty much it's online. You can put it on your phone. You don't even need a piece of paper. So I'm just going to go out again, let's say to October. Let's do Friday. Let's go to just one way. Let's go to London, any station. Let's do Liverpool. Let's go see the Beatles. Liverpool, get tickets. Let's see. Okay, so $95.98, but it says basically cheaper fares usually go on sale 12 weeks before the travel date. So keep that in mind, $95.98. Let's go back and put in a different date. Let's go sooner. Let's go in, let's do May 14th. Let's see what we got. Still expensive. I checked earlier and it was like $35. We'll try this again. So let's do June. Let's say June. There we go, $34.27. So you just keep your eye out between now and when you get to London, and you can pick up some really good stuff. There's one other really good app that you can actually put on your phone. I'd encourage everybody to do this that travels at any time, is Hostelworld. Hostelworld is very, very true on its reviews. So I would suggest using this if you're going anywhere in Europe. Actually, there's a lot of great places in Asia too that have great reviews. So just plug it in. You know, Madrid, put in Hostelworld. You have a whole list of nicely reviewed locations, and they're cheap, 20, 30 bucks a night, maybe even less sometimes. So I still don't see any questions. Anybody got questions for me? Anybody? All right, well, I like it. I like that there's no questions because I must be comprehensive. I'm I'm going to bring one other person in as a panelist here, and that is Elena Williamson, the Business Scholars, one of the Business Scholars directors. So Elena, you're now in as a panelist, I think. Yep, you're there. You okay? Do I see you? I see you,
Hey
but
there.
I can't.
Yep, I'm
There
here
you
now.
are. Okay.
Hey.
Do you want to add anything about what you've learned here, or any encouraging these business scholars that are might be with us to study abroad with us?
No, just that it's amazing. I actually see Trisha McCallum just posted. Hi, Trisha. I've seen her in a couple meetings. Oh, and I have my 10-year-old here with me today. She just wanted to be seen.
Oh,
so this is Sloan.
hi, Sloan. That's awesome.
But yeah, amazing opportunity for the students to be able to learn, to continue to go on the path toward their business degree, but also get international exposure. And yeah, I mean, everything that you've said, the travel to and from Camden Town's awesome, funky, really fun to live in. And so, yeah, I would just highly recommend it. And I just came for moral support more than anything, but happy to answer any questions if anybody has them.
Well, Elena is an expert at travel. She's taken business scholars and other students around the world many times, all over the place. So except for the age of COVID. So she's definitely a great resource for you, particularly as you prepare to go. She can help you understand how the money works, how what some tricks of the trade are when you get to locations where you are. She's very, very competent at that. I think, Elena, you've been to Morocco, right, with students?
Yeah, a couple times to Morocco with students.
That'd be a really cool weekend trip, I think.
Yeah, if you and like you said, in fact, I was trying to chat and it wasn't working, but I think maybe your searches are driving up just your prices, because I searched and it was cheap for me still. So
there's lots of ways to go, right? Lots of ways to go.
They know that you're watching. Anyways, but yeah, Morocco, I mean, all kinds of cool places, Malta, and you're so central in London, you can hit lots of cool places on the weekend and be back in time for classes too.
People love to go to Croatia too over the weekend. So
yeah.
So let me address Trisha's question. So Trisha, this particular fall break or fall semester program is designed for business students that were freshmen this year that did the B Corps 1000 and 2000 courses, and now they're going to go into the B Corps 3000 Business Fundamental 12-hour fall curriculum. However, in every semester that I've had students in the past, there have been students that didn't necessarily want to take the curriculum that I was offering, so they designed their own, and they worked with other companies to help them design their own program. And Kappa has a great Global Cities or Global Business Institute program, but this is essentially why I've invited our friends from ISA to be with us today, because I'd like them to talk about what they offer students full semester and how you can experience what they do and how that credit can transfer back to the U, et cetera. So I hope that helps, Trisha, with the answer. Third year students are typically those that are in their majors. So third and fourth year at the Eccles Business School would be students that are engrossed in their majors, and so they really don't have time to travel during the fall and spring semester. However, summer, we do offer a lot of summer classes that are very relevant and that you can take as a third and even a fourth year student. So with that, I'm going to stop my share, and I'm going to allow for sharing so that. Oh, I guess, yeah, actually, Colton, I think you're all set. So I'm going to turn the time over to Colton Oliphant from ISA, and he's going to talk a little bit about their programs. So take it away.
Great, thank you so much, Buzz. And I will say that in direct response to when one can go, that it actually makes a lot of sense if you aren't a really experienced traveler already, to do something that's a little bit more supportive, like the London program, and then to venture out later into something that's a little bit more on the independent side, like the programs that we offer where you do direct enrollments in universities. And actually, I think that's probably the primary thing that helps you with WorldStrides programs, both ISA and Team. We don't have any Team logos on this here, but both of our programs really will allow students to study basically anything. And so even when you are deep into your actual major courses, it's pretty rare that we can't help a student find a full set of courses that will help you stay on track and graduate on time. So the general of who we are, these are all the different places where ISA and Teen have programs. It's pretty extensive, as you can see, spans the entire world, really. We certainly have some programs that are in England, but we can go in different areas. There's a ton of good business programs in South Korea. Actually, those would be via our Teen counterparts. We've got a really fascinating program that we do in partnership with South Africa that just recently got fully approved by the Education Abroad Office. That's a pretty extensive internship that you can do. We have an option where you're based in Spain taking classes from South Africa, and another one where you can actually stay right in Utah and take a pretty interesting set of internships from South Africa. But we have a wide range, as you can see on the map here. Our programs are all based off of trying to help you to have as much integration with the area where you're studying as possible. And so everything that we do ties back to these 5 global learning pillars. We call it the discovery model. But if we take you on an excursion, for example, you're going to, I'll get even more specific, you're studying in the south of Spain, you're going to do an excursion to Morocco. When you're on that excursion, we'll tell you specific things from this set of 5 things that we're going to be paying attention to, so that you'll know exactly the sorts of things that you will be expected to learn. And so it's just a way for you to have something to sink your teeth into when you're learning about culture. And so we might say you're going to learn about the historical connection between the Moors and the south of Spain, and how they were the ones who were in control of the south of Spain for quite a while. And so you see a ton of Moorish influence in the architecture and art that you find pervasively in the south of Spain. And the same is true of the northern part of Morocco. You see a lot of Spanish influence from that cultural trading that's happened. So things like that will be emphasized when you're going through and doing your specific program. We provide everything soup to nuts, very similar to what Buzz described for the London program. The only things that are not included, that's actually an easier thing to talk about, would be personal expenses and international airfare. Meals are included if you do any sort of a stay with a family. That's one of the types of housing options that we have. We'll generally have some sort of a stay with a family that's possible. We'll have some sort of independent apartment housing, or some sort of university-owned dormitories that are possible for you. So if you're on the family side, all of your meals and your laundry are also included in your program. And so what you see is what you get when you look at the programs that are available and the prices that are associated. So this is the general contact information from me. That's my email address, colton.oliphant@studiesabroad.com. You are more than welcome to reach out to me with any sort of questions or exploration that you have. We do have hundreds of universities that we work with around the world that we can help you to plug into. We have around 30 universities or so, 30 or maybe a few more, that are AACSB accredited. So if you're not familiar with AACSB accreditation, that's a well-renowned business school accreditation. And some of your core courses, we also have those. We have courses in business law. We have courses in business strategy, the intersection of humanities and business, and a really wide range of customized internships. Some of the internships are truly customized, that you just tell us what you want an internship in, and then we find it for you. Others already have a little bit of a structure around them already, and we'll plug you into something that already exists. So more or less, no matter what you need, we've got it.
Colton, may I interrupt you for a minute?
Please.
So just a lot of students ask me, so if they take these courses, how easy are they to transfer to Utah? So I've told them very easy, right? You work with a university that's AACSB accredited, and they just flow right to the registrar's office.
That's exactly correct. You go through the technical term is you go through a course matching process before you go.
Course
Figure
mapping,
out
right?
Exactly how the course will map back into your degree. And then when you come back with that transcript, it will just be a one-to-one sort of thing. Whatever you figured out ahead of time, it'll go into that particular class, which will automatically flow into your degree. So it's very, very straightforward.
Okay, so for the students that are interested in creating their own program, it's super easy, but here's what I'd ask you to do. On my website, on the Eccles Global website, there's a form that you can take to your academic advisor and fill out what you want to take. And what the academic advisor and you will do is you'll look at ISA's syllabi for these courses, and you will work with that academic advisor to cross-list them with Eccles courses. Now you can get credit, that's easy, but it's trying to get credit for the actual Eccles requirements. Exactly. So do that before you go, and I can help you do that too. And then Colton can help us find the syllabi that we need to do that. So it's easy, but it needs to be done kind of ahead of time. So
absolutely. Preparation is by far the biggest predictor of success for this sort of program. And it really is just making sure that you cross your T's and dot your I's. But as long as you figure out how those courses map before you leave, it's a very straightforward process to get them to actually come in. But as far as the syllabi go, we actually have pretty extensive course descriptions for a really wide range of courses listed directly on our website. But when you get to the point where you need specific syllabi, just let us know. There's a ton of them that we already just have on deck. And then if there's one that you need that's not already on deck, we can reach out to the university. And so we really are your partner for anything that you're trying to accomplish in this. And so I'm curious, are there any questions out there from the students about the sorts of things that are possible, or locations or any of that? I can tell you that the AACSB accredited programs span 5 different continents. And so you're not for lack of choices.
Yeah, let me just speak a little bit to that. So AACSB is the accreditation body that also accredits the Eccles Business School. And it's a very robust accreditation. It's very important to have. So the fact that all of these courses are AACSB approved makes it super seamless. So it's a little technical on that part for you guys, but it really makes it work easily. So let me just say one thing. I have been to ISA offices in Seoul, Tokyo, London, and a couple of others. And I can tell you that the folks that run these centers are extremely professional. They are very easy to work with. They provide student services that are comprehensive. You will have, I may want to talk about the insurance part of it, Colton, too, because I think it's as comprehensive as we do.
Absolutely. It is very comparatively comprehensive. And it might even be one extra step beyond what the university has, because we have a full medical doctor who's on call for us. And
ours is pretty comprehensive. It really covers medical, it covers, but not just physical, emotional, mental.
Yep. And we definitely have the mental health coverage part too. I know that that's something that students have thankfully started to take more advantage of, which is great.
We had a student step off a bus a few years ago, twist her ankle, required surgery, and our insurance company flew her home for surgery. So that was also included. I had a student mid-flight between Seoul, Korea and Shanghai, China, forget his EpiPen in Seoul. We were met at the Shanghai airport by a doctor who replaced the EpiPen thanks to CISI insurance. That's what we have. So anyway, yeah, they're great. So
we're probably, based on that, we're probably right on par then.
Yeah, it's comprehensive. So
anything else that you'd like me to share about, or any questions from the students?
I think that's great. Just remember that this is going to go up on our YouTube channel. So anything else you'd like to add, it's going to be, it's recorded for the ages, and
sure.
And so I think you've got great information here. So you have your email address, and you also have a phone number here. So if
Yep.
anyone has, questions beyond this, they feel free to just contact ISA Colton directly.
Absolutely. And the
and
number is for our team of program advisors. And so the phone gets answered more often than not. But you can leave a message if it is one of those lean times when it doesn't get
that's
answered.
great.
And so we try to keep it pretty comprehensive so that we can always serve students. And
Yeah.
like, I think the biggest thing to take away is that we really go out of our way to make what is inherently kind of a complicated process as easy as possible.
Yeah, and again, ISA WorldStrides is one of the providers that Eccles Global works with, and we've had just really great experiences. The WorldStride folks, that's the teams combined. So when I say WorldStrides and ISA, it's interchangeable. WorldStrides has taken our MBA group internationally many times on short 1 week experiences, and so that's been very great to see. They've done a great job. So Colton, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll drop back into the Eccles Global website and talk about a couple other things if that's okay, if people have just a minute. So
that's perfect.
Thanks. That was beautiful. So have you go ahead and stop share. There, perfect. All right, so I'm going to jump back into the Eccles Global website really quick and just go through a couple of things real fast. We have, and I'll get there in just a second, so I know you can't see my screen yet, but we have a couple of pretty cool things coming up this fall and winter. And as the world is opening up, we are ready to rock and roll. So let me pull this up. So back to our website. So I have fall break, which is October 8th through the 17th, I believe. And right now we're going to Dubai as our only location at the moment. However, we are in discussions today, basically, because the world is opening up again. The EU is opening up, UK is opening up. We're not overly excited about South America right now as far as opening without quarantining, or Asia without quarantine, because they're both still being pretty tight. Australia, New Zealand, probably not. So we're thinking about adding Israel and Jordan to our lineup for fall break. And we've done Israel and Jordan 3 times. We start in Israel, we're there for 3 days. We end up in Jordan for 3 days, and then there's a flight on both ends. And it's a very rich experience. We have an awesome tour operator that handles that. The only concern we're having, again, is trying to figure out COVID. Israel is opening because most people are vaccinated. Jordan is still doing some quarantining, but it's open. So we're doing our research right now to see what that looks like. The other opportunity that we're considering is Amsterdam and one other city, and we're thinking Amsterdam, Berlin. We have a university in Amsterdam that would love to host us for a few days there. And so we're looking at that very seriously. And then in Berlin, which I took students to a couple of years ago, we have a really cool itinerary there. We're thinking about those 2 cities as a compare and contrast. So just kind of keep those in mind. By the end of next week, we should have both of those opportunities vetted and on our website. Pricing is going to be roughly $3,500 to $4,000, depending on what we can arrange. Europe's going to be a little bit pricier. Jordan, Israel is actually a little bit less, but the air flight's a little more. So it may be closer to $4,000 on both. 3,500 on Dubai. Dubai, we have 16 folks already, and they're putting deposits down as I speak. So if you're interested in that experience, be sure you jump on that one. Great. Well, I don't see any other questions or anything, and I'm happy to talk about anything you guys like, but otherwise I think I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank Colton very much for your time and on ISA, and really appreciate the opportunity, and let's see if we can get some students out with you guys, which would be awesome.